All right, welcome. My name is Casey Johnson, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar, How to Move to the Cloud Today, hosted by Cloudnine Realtime. A few little housekeeping items before we get started. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to post those to the GoToMeeting toolbar. We'll be sure to answer them throughout the course of the webinar, but we'll also have a Q&A session at the end. There are 3 handouts available for download in the GoToWebinar toolbar, so please feel free to go there and take advantage of those. We also have some different polls. Please make sure that you answer those. And I am so thrilled that all of you are on today's webinar because we have a very special guest who I have known for over 7 years now, and I actually worked for him for 5 of those. So if you are looking to move to the cloud, trying to figure out what is the best solution, I can tell you this is one of the most passionate men about the cloud. So with no further ado, Cloudnine founder, president, and CEO, Robert Chandler.
Well, thank you, Casey, and it's always good to talk with you again. And I want to thank you for putting on today's webinar. And like you said, it's been a privilege to get to know you over the years and work with you. And thank you for everything that you've done in the accounting and technology arena. It's always an honor to be with you and to hear what you're doing and just the exciting things that you bring to the industry. So thanks again, Casey. Yes, we're really excited about talking about today about how to move to the cloud. You know, it's one of those things where it's very important for your business. A lot of people have been researching the cloud, but now you've made the decision to move to the cloud. So we're going to go through today's presentation and jump in and discuss, you know, definitely some of the important things when it comes to moving to the cloud. Again, my name is Robert Chandler. I'm the president and founder of Cloudnine Realtime. I've been working with technology and cloud computing since about 1998, so approaching about 20 years. I used it in 2 accounting firms that I established and founded and sold in the early 2000s, and so just really excited about technology and how it's advancing and just how it's really making a difference in businesses but also accounting professions. So that's a little bit of background of myself there, and again, again, it's a privilege of being with each and every one of you today. So, you know, these are some of the assumptions I want to talk about, making sure when it comes to the cloud, you're not here to talk about, you know, how. It really comes down to, it really talks about how, not if. You've already probably made the decision to move to the cloud. And then when it comes to the technology, one of the decisions that you want to make sure that you're making is you want to prefer access over ownership. You don't want to go out and make a large investment in technology and infrastructure. As you know, technology is always changing. You'll go out and buy a piece of hardware, whether it's a laptop or a desktop or a cell phone, and before you know it, within 1 month, 2 months, it's kind of already outdated. That's the beauty of when you're accessing technology. You're kind of getting the latest and greatest. We'll be giving you some examples about that, but you want to make sure that you're deciding access over ownership. And then if you're not in the cloud yet, it's because it's been too painful to make that transition. And you know, moving to the cloud, and the early adopters probably experienced this. It was very difficult. There was a lot of you know, items when it came to security, and you know, it wasn't priced appropriate, and you know, moving all your information to the data and making sure these applications worked in the cloud was very difficult. But today, what we're seeing is the move to the cloud is a lot easier. It's not as painful as it used to be, and you know, we're going to talk about, you know, when you're moving to the cloud, how to make that easy transition to the cloud. And then you know, well, it's about the how, not if, like I talked to you about. So, you know, moving to the cloud, you're going to see growth in your business. It's really important. I took an accounting firm back in 2000 and moved it to about 3 clients to over 500 clients online. And the difference was sharing that information and collaborating with clients in real time. That was a really important thing. You know, one of the things that you'll see, and when you talk to your clients and you interview them, it's just not about the you know, the tax return or the financial reporting or the bookkeeping or the payroll, it's really becoming that trusted business advisor. They really want you to be involved in their business to help them grow. Most businesses owners have the aspect of they have this knowledge of their product or service that they offer, and then they understand probably the marketing and selling. But when it really comes to running a business from the financial aspect and making all those business decisions, that's where they struggle. And so with the cloud, you're going to be able to collaborate and share information in real time. The other thing by collaborating is and making it and sharing information in real time, it can be very simple. And so you can share that information in real time. You can see those financial reports. You can make those decisions, and you know, you don't have to send information back and forth. And the next item is actually freedom. I'm not in our corporate office today. I'm actually in our executive office, and that's the nice thing about the freedom and the flexibility is you can be, you know, literally anywhere, anytime, as long as you have an internet connection. You know, one of the things I like to do is, you know, take cruises, and when I can go on the cruise, I can take my laptop computer. I don't have to worry about software being installed. You know, I just have to have that internet connection. I can be right in tune with my office. And the other item is security. As we know, you know, security is a big item. We hear it in the news all the time. You know, Target just recently in the last year got hacked, and you know, these things are taking place all the time. And you know, when you move to the cloud, you have the security, you have the SOC 2 compliances, and you have cloud providers that's what they specialize in the security. And if you're out there, you know, not trying to implement and buying technology, you're not going to have the security that you need in your office, and that's why you want to be accessing a cloud provider. And then the savings, this is one. It's second to none from the aspect of you're going to save anywhere from about 30 to 60% in cost, because you're going to pay per user moving to the cloud, and it's going to be a lot cheaper as the technology changes. Like just recently, we came out with some new technology called the C9 portal, and you're going to receive those benefits. So as that's taking place, you're not going to have to continue to reinvest into hardware and infrastructure. Casey, I believe we have our first polling question, so if you can go on and push that out to the listeners, that would be great. And so the polling question is open right now, so if you can go ahead and answer that first question. And the question is, what is the greatest fear of moving to the cloud thus far? Is it learning new programs? Is it security? Is it cost? Or is it all the above? So if you can go ahead and take a second to answer that question. Casey, just let me know when you go ahead and close that. And if you want to share the results, you can definitely do that.
Here we go. I think we got about 90% in.
Okay, great. Casey, I don't see the actual polling questions. I believe you're showing them. Can you kind of talk about them a little bit with your background and what you're seeing in those results? Can you kind of comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and sorry you can't see that. I think the audience can. Audience, if you can't, please post a comment. But so what we see here is pretty much very consistent with the industry. 49% are saying all of the above, 22% saying security, which, you know, everything that we see in the media, of course, just compounds that. And I'm sure that that's not just for your firm, but also your clients' concerns. And then cost at 19% and learning new programs at 10%. Just a few comments here. The cloud, there's a lot of different types of clouds, and people get confused on this. You know, when Intuit, for example, came out with QuickBooks Online, in my opinion, they should have renamed it. It shouldn't have been QuickBooks Online. It should have been a totally different product name, because people went into it thinking that it was going to have the same features and functionality as the desktop product, and then when it didn't, it was a disappointment to a lot. But that is their SaaS version, software as a service, of their accounting software. Then you have QuickBooks Desktop, which you'll see a cloud version of that where it's being hosted. So the learning new programs actually doesn't come into effect when we're talking about a hosted model, which I'm sure Rob will go into. So those 10% of people, we're going to take away that fear. Security, it's all about doing due diligence. If you are contracting with vendors that are reputable, have been around for a while, and you are performing due diligence checklists, I think that you're going to find that it's actually more secure than a local environment, because hackers have found that it's easier to hack into a local CPA firm than it is to a large enterprise scale data center. And then cost, all depends on what you're using. So I will turn it back over to Rob and hide out this poll. Back to you.
Well, thanks, Casey. So moving on, what are you trying to accomplish when you're moving to the cloud? And these are some of the things that questions that you want to ask. And, some of the questions you want to ask is, what applications and data do you want to move to the cloud? And my recommendation, if you're a smaller firm, it's going to be a lot easier to move to the cloud compared to a larger firm. So if you're a larger firm, say you have over 25 to 50 users, maybe you just want to start off with like 3 to 5, applications such as, your accounting software, which would be most likely QuickBooks. But, definitely you want to make those decisions of what applications and data you can move to the cloud. I would say about 99% of applications today work in the cloud. So if you're running those applications on your desktop or local or your server computer in that environment today, you're going to be able to move those applications to the actual cloud. A lot of people have actually closed their brick and mortar operations. They don't have an office any longer. So if you're a sole proprietor, you might want to say, I want to work from home and have a home office. I've even seen clients of ours that have moved to another country, because now they can communicate anytime, anywhere. So really, what are you trying to accomplish? Maybe you want to create that telecommute environment for your staff, and so those are some of the types of things that you can do when you actually move to the cloud. Servicing clients in real time, I think, is really important. Sharing that information where you're not sending that information back and forth, and then the scalable resources. When you have a cloud environment, you can build an accounting practice really fast, and you don't have to worry about the technology. I've seen this, by so many accounting firms, because again, you have a solid technology partner out there that's going to help you make those technology decisions. And then eliminating the internal IT cost. Again, that's going to be a big cost savings. You're going to be able to turn to that cloud provider, and they're going to be able to make those recommendations and provide all that IT support. We offer 24/7, 365 days technical support. So if something happens on a Saturday or Sunday or a holiday, there's going to be someone that's going to be there to take your phone call. And then you're going to really be able to gain that competitive edge in the market. So only about 30% of accounting firms today uses cloud computing full time, and so that kind of sits where the other 70% still need to come along. So the possibilities are limitless. And here's the other thing too. Everybody's going to use the technology different. So really, there's not a playbook that says this is what everybody's doing. You can customize it based upon whatever solutions that you want to utilize for your business. And that actually takes us to our next polling question, which is, what is your primary accounting software and access for your firm and clients? Is it the QuickBooks Desktop? And what I mean by that is you have the QuickBooks installed on your local computer today. Is it the QuickBooks Desktop hosted, which again is the desktop model that Casey was talking about, that you moved it to the cloud? Cloudnine Realtime supports versions 2014 to 2016, Pro, Premier, Enterprise, and POS. So you can run all those softwares in a cloud environment. What's the beauty of that is you don't have to go out and purchase that actual software. You can lease it on a monthly basis. So you don't have that large out-of-pocket software that you have to purchase up front. It could be the QuickBooks Online, which is also an acronym for QBO. It's Xero, or maybe it's others such as Sage. So if you can go ahead and answer that question, I'm going to have Casey kind of talk about the results here, because I don't see them on my screen, but I just want to give everybody the opportunity to answer that question, and we'll moving on to our next slide.
Yeah, and while everybody's wrapping that up, 'cause we're at about 80%, we did get a question from the last poll. She said, my greatest fear of cloud accounting is the internet goes down in my office, then we are dead in the water. Do you want to address that? I know I've gotten that question before, so happy to.
Sure. Well, one of the things, just like with cloud computing, you have redundancy in place. So if you're a small accounting firm, what I would recommend is probably going and buying what they call a MiFi card. MiFi cards, you can get, redundancy. You can do a pay-as-you-go. And so if you do have internet that goes down in a local, or maybe you're traveling and travel with a MiFi card, but it's about the size of a cell phone, and you can create that for redundancy. The other item is if your internet does go down and you have a laptop, then, moving to a Starbucks and accessing it, you're accessing the technology through a secured portal, so you don't need to be worrying about logging in at a Starbucks, because you're going to be going through a tunnel which is going to have 256-bit encryption. So you are going to be secure. But if you're a larger accounting firm, what I recommend is, having a secondary redundancy. You probably don't need to have, a 3 meg pipe of internet coming into your office. Maybe you want to do like 1.5 for redundancy. But definitely the internet's going to be very important when it uses cloud computing, but you can do it as simple as, a pay-as-you-go service for the internet to compare to creating redundancy in your large accounting firm. So Casey, maybe you kind of share the results with the group.
Absolutely. So we have 65% are using QuickBooks Desktop, 21% said other, 11% are on QBO, 3% are on QuickBooks Desktop hosting, and nobody is on Xero, which maybe that's because XeroCon is going on right now and all those users are in San Francisco at the event. But fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for sharing.
So I want to kind of move to, talking a little bit about the number 2 point. You prefer access over ownership. So if you look at some of these companies, one of the ones I really, hit on this is, Netflix. You just think about movies coming out. Are you really going to want to go out and, buy that, movies? And I remember growing up at, having a VCR player and just having hundreds of VCR actually tapes. But the beauty of something like Netflix is a lot of the movies today are actually free. There's I believe there's subscriptions like $9.99, and when also when new movies come out, you can get them a couple weeks after they've been released in the movie theaters. And the other big one is for our kids is PlayStation. I remember going out and buying these games at $50 and playing them for a week and being able to conquer them, and it's like, oh my goodness, now I have to go out and spend another $50. Well, now I can go down to the store and spend $5.99 and conquer that game and not worry about it and hand it back, and not worrying about the the cartridge or the CD being laid around the house and it's getting scratched or something like that. So it's really kind of really unique is you create that service that comes to you. I mean, look what Uber's done. I mean, really you don't have to sit there and deal with calling a taxi cab. You can literally push a button on your phone and someone can show up and transport you from one place to the next. And that's kind of where the cloud is. The ownership is not important as it once was, but access is more important than ever. And you see these companies that are coming out with products and services, and if they create an access, that's probably what you want to go to, because only when you need it, you're going to pay for it. And so that's something that we're really seeing that's becoming more important in the industry. Number 3 is making the transition to the cloud can be confusing. We package at Cloudnine hosted environments as a container for both SaaS and on-premise solutions, allowing employees and businesses to collaborate seamlessly. So, on the left-hand side, the old way is you had your staff and your clients, your IT person, your infrastructure, and you and your clients and your staff, all into different places. And it was just sending this information back and forth, whether it was QuickBooks files, whether it was financial reports. You might be traveling on site to meet with a client to review their accounting software and their procedures and those type of things. But with today, the new way is, we create that centralized container and put your applications in that container, and then give your staff and clients and you access to it. And so you log in and you can access those applications, whether it might be QuickBooks or your tax software or CRM, financial analytics software, tax programs. And so we can make that available to you. We can assign the permissions, or you can assign the permissions based upon how you want those to be assigned. So maybe for your clients, you want to give them access to the accounting software and maybe Microsoft Word and Excel, but you don't want to have them have access to the other programs that's in that actual container. So you can assign security permissions based upon the needs of each one of the users. And so the transition to the cloud can be very simple. You just have to decide what applications you want to actually move to the cloud and then assign those actual permissions, and you can do that through the C9 portal. Whoops. So cloud adoption is critical. It's no longer an innovative idea. As you can see, about 30% of accounting firms are utilizing it today, but it's going to be necessary for your continued success. Again, the comparison I use to that is the auto mechanic of 10 years ago. That auto mechanic 10 years ago, you would take your vehicle into the shop and they would ask you a bunch of questions. Today, you can literally just go in and say, my car is not working. What are they going to do? They're going to plug that car into the computer. It's going to spit out a report. It's going to tell them exactly what's wrong with that car, how much it is going to cost to get repaired, and within literally probably hours, your car is going to be back up and running and on the road. And so, that was really, the times of where the auto mechanic went from sitting in your passenger seat and driving around the block and trying to decide or looking under the hood what was wrong with your vehicle. And that's kind of the same thing with the cloud technology was doing for accounting firms and businesses today. The buying process can be overwhelming, so we're going to be talking a little bit about that. But the transition hasn't traditionally been easy. And each time each one of our clients move to the cloud, there's assigned a project manager, and that project manager will sit there and literally walk them through the process of moving to the cloud. And once you sign up with Cloudnine, it can take anywhere from about 1 to 7 business days to get your practice up and running and move to the cloud. So it's no longer this month or 2 months process. It can be done in very simple actual steps. One of the things that you want to make sure is be sold on a solution, whether business, so you want to define what your business goals are. The cloud is the smartest and fastest way to make them a reality. And one of the things that we recommend is when you decide to move to the cloud, or when you're deciding to utilize technology, is to decide that on a trial. Make sure it's going to be working for your business before going out and making that monthly or technology purchase. And so one of the things that you have to decide is what competitors are you going to take a look at, and then what are the criteria that you're going to establish, and you kind of narrow that down based upon your needs. And so what you want to do is you want to do a needs assessment for your business. So some of the cloud providers that are out there, you have Cloudnine Realtime, which we offer a free trial. You have a company like SwissNet, which they are a competitor to us. But they offer cloud technology solutions. I believe today they offer about 250 applications in the cloud, where we support over 1,000 applications. You have something like Rackspace or maybe Amazon. One of the things that people are taking a look at those companies today, but one of the things that you need to keep in mind is a Rackspace or an Amazon Web Service provider, they're going to provide you just that infrastructure. And they're not going to provide you the technical support. They're not going to provide you the applications being installed. So you're going to still have to be that IT provider for your firm. And so when a situation does arise, you're either going to have to take care of it yourself, or you're going to have to contract with someone. So when you're really committed to buy when you really decide this is the direction that you want to head, our recommendation is definitely try it. Try it before you actually buy. And Casey talked about that, is not all clouds are created equal. And so you really want to, understand the different types of clouds, and Casey spoke about that a little bit. But if you're a small to mid-sized firm, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind. But when shopping for a provider, you want to be insight and be informed in the decisions. In fact, those in the handouts, one of the handouts that we have provided is questions to ask your cloud providers. So, become very, kind of a subject expert when it comes to moving to the cloud, and ask to speak with references. Ask to speak, regarding how many different data centers and technical support, and just maybe the backup process and the restoring of a backup process. And so you really want to get to know your cloud provider. The analogy I give is going out and buying a new car, or buying a house. Do your due diligence on these companies. We've been providing customized cloud solutions since 2000, so we have a lot of experience. We're located in San Diego. We have 2 data centers, one in San Diego and one in Austin, Texas. And so anytime you're in one of these areas, you can actually tour one of our data centers, but really get to know them, because they're going to be your technology provider. You're going to want to get to know them. So if you're at conferences, I know some of you guys are attending the Panalytics roadshows. Our company is present there. Really get to know them, because they're going to be your technology provider, and you're going to want to establish that relationship, because items are going to come up, and you're going to want to definitely be very informed on who to contact. And you're assigned an account manager with our company. So as you're making the steps and moving to the cloud, and once you've established that cloud, really get to know your account manager on a first name basis. You should have their email address, their direct phone number. So if something does happen or arise, you're going to be able to reach out to them. But again, there's different types of clouds. You want to get to know the different types of clouds, and definitely do your due diligence and ask those questions. And then the best providers offer, these type of things. So when you're looking at moving to the cloud, look at the use cases. Ask to speak to references. They should have case studies on accounting firms or legal firms or construction firms or the retail firms. Really get to see how the cloud has changed other people's businesses. A marketing assistant, if you're an accounting firm and you're looking to move to the cloud, but also you're saying, well, this is a great marketing resource. I can now take this and add it on to my other products and services, my portfolio that I market to my business clients. We'll help you. We'll help you establish that marketing presence and have you receive the training and marketing support that you need. So when you go out there and talk with your clients, you're going to be able to answer the questions about security and how do I log in and what is the cost and those type of things. Pricing consultation. So again, as you're moving to the cloud, my first recommendation is take the step and move your business to the cloud. And then once that's been successful, then and you now are utilizing it, then taking it and duplicating it across your clients. Just the redundancy that you can create with your clients from data and stuff like that. It's so important. I hear daily businesses, going out of business because they lost information or they lost data, or a hard drive crashed or something like that. So again, when your clients are going out there and making those hardware purchases for IT support, before they do that, that's something that you might want to talk to them about when you're reviewing their financial reports or putting budgets together or those type of things. And then the self-service tools. Are you able to service your clients or add new users or put in support tickets, without making phone calls and those type of things? We offer the C9 portal, which gives you the power of managing your cloud and providing, products and services for your clients when it comes to cloud computing. So, the best cloud providers, they're going to have these types of assistance when it comes to they're offering a product and their service. And then the importance of use of, again, of case studies. Anyone can compare pricing, but it's the most important thing is, ask for examples of use cases. How long they've been, how long they've been using cloud computing. How has it made a difference in their increased growth? If they struggled or if they've had issues with a cloud provider, how they've been able, has that cloud provider been able to address them? One of our clients is Turner in Cleveland, and they are a firm that's been with us for the last 5 years, and they've seen tremendous amount of growth in their accounting firm by using cloud computing. So, ask for those case studies, ask for those references. These cloud providers should be able to provide this type of information to you. Pricing and marketing assistance, these are some of the key things. So custom invite letters and welcome packets. So these are turnkey solutions that you can use for your firm. White labeled sign-in pages. So again, if your clients are utilizing cloud technology solutions, they're going to be able to go to your website and log in and access their virtual office. They're not going to be able, they don't need to go to our website and log in. And then also, we can assign you to a sales consultant that's going to be able to help you present the products and services and sell the solutions to your clients and give them the benefits and do the cost comparison and the cost savings of moving to the cloud. So again, these are things that we provide to our clients. There's no additional cost to do that, but it's going to really make the difference of helping you build your practice as you move and make these decisions. And then the other item is the C9 portal. As you can see, we have some screenshot of that portal, but what's really nice is you're able to add users, deactivate users, manage support tickets, and add applications, and see the server resources and analytics, and chat with technical support. And you can do that through a tablet or laptop, a computer. We support Macintoshes as well. So, you can see the different CPA usage and the users that are logged on. So if you need to log a user out of the system, you can do that. You can see the applications that are running. You can see your billing. And so, you want to have, an all-in-one resource to manage your technology, and you can do that through the C9 portal. This is pretty exciting technology that we've just developed in the last, we've been developing for about the last 12 months, and it's been released for about, I believe, about 60 to 90 days. So we're just really excited about this technology, and so other cloud providers, they should have this type of portal, and if they don't, you might want to look in a different direction. So again, really, just easy to use tools to manage your practice. And then when it comes to the Cloudnine solutions, Cloudnine empowers our businesses, employees, and clients from all walk of life. And so we allow you to start small and then grow limitlessly. And so we have 4 different types of packages. Our Pro is 1 to 2 users. Our Pro Plus is 3 to 25. Our Premier is 25 to 500, and then our Enterprise is 500 plus. And so it's perfectly fine to set and start at the 1 to 2 user level. That's going to allow you to get the ability to move to the cloud and get it all set up. But again, you can go from the 1 to 2 to 100 pretty quickly. And again, you just need to decide where your starting point is actually going to be. And then understanding the data migration. There will be, you will need to put some time into this. Like I said, it's anywhere from about 1 to 7 days. But we will put together a data migration timeline for you and training, and there will be, you'll have some training, and there will be, small learning curves for the admins. The admins are the ones that will be adding users and deactivating users and doing those type of, what I call the administrator managing of the server infrastructure. Then you have your staff users, which will be accessing the applications, and then your clients. And so, you have these 3 different types of users that will be utilizing the actual cloud. And the best way to do a transition is over time, especially if you're a 25 to 50 employee company. But the data migration strategy is key when moving to the cloud, and that's why we assign you a cloud project manager that's going to walk you through that steps, and we're going to put together the timeline and checklist of making sure that you complete these things in order. It's kind of like, going down to IKEA and putting together a desk. You're going to have to walk through 12 steps for that desk to be completed. And so we will do the actual same way, helping you migrate to the cloud. And then, why make the move now? What we've seen is 300% average growth for firms that's transitioning to the cloud. And, do your clients want more tech-centered solutions? And I believe that answer is yes. And I can prove that to you by just going down and asking you to sit in a mall and just watching, do people watching. People are on their mobile devices, they're on their, tablets, they're looking at their watch, which now has technology built in. The other thing is if you're experiencing a declining in revenue or you're looking to increase your revenue, offering cloud products and solutions is definitely going to allow you to help you do that. And another question that you want to ask is your IT infrastructure outdated, or are you going to be out there making technology purchases? If you are, then this is why you definitely want to take a look and make the move to the cloud. And then, again, is your growth stagnant? If you're looking to really take your business and monetize it, and you own the relationships with those clients, so definitely capitalize on those. Ultimately, the decision is simple. The only thing you have to figure out is when you want to start. And you either can start today or you can start from a year from now. But really, my whole thing is that when the faster you can jump into this, you're going to look back in a year from now and you're going to say that was definitely the best decision that you've made. So you can sign up for a free trial today. You can go to our website, which is cloudninerealtime.com, and up in the right-hand corner you can say sign up, and they'll just ask you 5 simple questions. And we will help with testing your speed and making sure that your speed is strong. We have a 10 gigabyte network infrastructure. Our connection time is 99.99% of the time. You're going to see cost savings up to 70%. We're going to provide support, and it's going to be 100% US based, 24/7, and then security fully managed and monitored. So you can sign up for a free trial today. There's no cost. And Casey, I believe we have a couple questions that we want to push out to the group. And I believe our next polling question is, what is the primary objective of driving your move to the cloud? Is it anytime, anywhere access? Is it the IT cost savings? Is it replacing the outdated IT infrastructure? Or is it your clients are asking for more technology-centered solutions, or 5 others? So what's the primary objective that you're looking to move to the cloud? So if you can go and take a second to answer that question. And Casey, if you want to share this result, I'm fine with that as well.
Perfect. I'm just going to give it a few more seconds. Got about 75% voted. All right. So we have 71% of you are looking to move to the cloud for the anytime, anywhere access to your apps and data. 16% for replacing outdated IT infrastructure. Very smart move. 7% other. 5% on IT cost savings, and nobody has the clients that are asking for more tech-centered solutions. So majority are looking for convenience.
No, definitely, and that's probably one of the biggest things with traveling and sitting in traffic, and just there might be something that comes up on a on a weekend, and you would have to drive to the office and actually deal with that, and you no longer need to do that. Regarding one of the things that was surprising is your clients are asking for more technology-centered solutions. That doesn't surprise me that no one said that, but I can guarantee you when you get out there and start speaking to your clients, they probably don't even know that this type of technology is out there. But one of the questions, that I can tell you, from speaking to businesses and accounting firms, is being that trusted business advisor. They just are just not hiring you to do that tax return or that producing of the financial reports. They want you to become that trusted business advisor. As they make those business decisions, they can turn to a single source and pick up the phone and have a relationship with that trusted advisor, and you can push them in that direction. And that's really valuable because that's going to allow them to grow. They're not going to have to make 12 different phone calls and say, well, who should I be banking with, or who I should be getting financing from. You have those relationships as being an accountant, and you can point them right in that direction. And that was really one of the big parts of my success. Is anytime, as I was building my accounting firm, is that anytime that clients were making a decision, I asked them first to turn to me, and you'd be surprised. They were turning to me going, I'm buying a new car. Where should I go to buy a new car? I mean, it was just they saw me as that trusted business advisor, and that's really important as you're building your accounting practice. And then our last polling question is, when do you want to move to the cloud? As you have 4 choices. Number 1, as soon as possible. The 4th quarter, which maybe is after the September and October 15th deadline. The 1st quarter, as you're establishing, your goals for 2017, or maybe you're saying, you know what, it's got a lot of work sitting ahead of me. Maybe it's going to wait until after the deadlines in April of 2017. But when are you looking to actually move to the cloud? And like I said, you can sign up for that free trial and test it. And if you have any questions, you can go to our website and speak to one of our consultants, and they can assist you and provide you with any additional information. And then I'm going to put our contact information on the screen. So if you have any questions, you can just contact us toll free at 888-869-0076. And you can find us at cloudninerealtime.com for more information. Well, I know that Casey probably has some questions that have came in for the group. And so, Casey, I'll turn it back over to you and allow you to ask myself any questions, or please feel free to comment. You've been in the cloud technology space for the last 7 years, and you're very knowledgeable and expert in this. So if there's anything that I missed, definitely please chime in.
No, I think this was fabulous. Thank you, Rob. And just so everybody knows, I'm going to leave the contact information up, but from the last poll, we had 36% said after the April deadline, 30% said 4th quarter of this year, 25% said as soon as possible, and 9% are looking at 1st quarter. Brave bunch of folks right there. So we have lots.
I'm really excited because I'm telling you, we have so many thousands of clients, and I've traveled the circuit, and I'm at accounting conferences and technology conferences, and even, occasionally I'm in a restaurant, someone will walk up and go, "Are you the CEO of Cloudnine?" And I say, "Yes, I am." And they're like, I hear the stories daily of how technology has changed, and cloud technology has changed their business. And I know Casey, speaking at the conferences about technology and growing your business and stuff like that, it's just been a tremendous asset. So it's the passion that allows me to do what I do, and I'm just really excited because it's really changed, businesses. It's changed the accounting firms, and it just really allows you to create that limitless freedom of just being there anytime, anywhere, and the cost savings and the security, just knowing that you can have that peace of mind when you go to bed at night, knowing your information is protected, is literally priceless.
Absolutely. And we have a few questions, Rob. First one is, if a client already has QuickBooks Desktop, can it be hosted, or do we have to lease a copy from you?
No, that's a great question. So what Intuit requires is that you have a license. So the license is either a desktop software that you've made that purchase. So if they have that license number that they purchased the software, you can utilize that software. So there's no additional cost for the actual software. Intuit does require a $5 Intuit fee, and that allows us to support that desktop in the actual cloud. That's kind of like a program fee. But if you don't own QuickBooks, I believe the desktop product, you can lease it for about $19, $20 a month. The prices change about every 6 months. I think last time I saw it was like $19.25, and that already includes the $5 fee. So that kind of gives you an idea, what the cost would be. And that the pricing that I just said was for the Premier product line. The Enterprise is about $45 per user. So again, you don't have to go out there and make that large, $2,500 investment to run that QuickBooks Enterprise software.
Perfect. Thank you. Another one is I do quite a bit of videos. When I checked a few years back, don't remember which cloud provider it was, but they did not allow me to keep videos in the cloud. Do you allow video storage?
So that question is yes. When you're making the transition, what one of our consultants will do is make that assessment. They'll do an assessment consultation on how much storage that you want to need to purchase to move to the cloud. So you can move videos. I mean, I remember the cloud, 7 years ago was running on a 1 gigabyte, backbone, and now today it runs on a 10 gigabyte. Our solution might not be the best for videos. Utilizing, OneBox or Dropbox or something like that might be a little bit better. But if you're running your whole business on the cloud and you want to utilize videos, the answer will be yes. But you want to keep in mind videos might take up a large amount of data, and so there might be, it might be not cost effective compared to something like Dropbox, especially if you're just trying to store, videos in the cloud. But definitely talk to you can speak to, one of the reps, and they can assist you and give you that price quote for storing videos in the cloud.
Perfect. Thank you. Another one is a Cloud9 service widely available in Canada? If not, what is?
Great question. So we are an authorized hosting company in Canada. I believe we're like in 25 different countries today, and so we're in practically every country except, I believe, it's China. So definitely we can support your infrastructure if you're in the Canadian market, and provide you with those references as well.
Perfect. Next, if using Cloud9, what QuickBooks would we use? So I'm assuming they're asking what versions and years?
So currently we support QuickBooks 2014, 15, and 16. We'll be offering 17 in November of this year. Every May 15th, that's another date that accountants should write down. You probably don't know this, but Intuit sunsets the 2014 edition on May 15th of 2017. So if you're using QuickBooks 2014 today or Enterprise 14.0, you want to make sure you upgrade by May 15th of 2017, because if something happens to that file, Intuit will not provide support. So a lot of accountants will be running, QuickBooks 2010 in their local environment, or they'll be allowing their client to run, QuickBooks 2010. Well, if something happens to that data file, Intuit's not going to assist you in restoring that file, and most likely you're going to have to go to a third party, and it can get very, very expensive. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. Again, we will use your license, and your license, we will be supporting that version of the product that you've purchased. And like I said, we support the Pro, Premier, Enterprise, and POS, and that's the 14 through 16 versions, and then starting in November will be the 17 versions. So definitely it's going to be based upon your license number or what product line that you want to lease when it comes to the Intuit product lines.
Perfect. Thank you, Rob. We have a question about if they could get a copy of the presentation. I know you guys will all get an email with a link to the recording. Rob, what should they do to request a copy of the slides?
Yeah, good question. Just go ahead and email us at info@cloud9realtime.com or sales@cloud9realtime.com, and we can make sure that you have a copy of today's presentation. Or you can contact us toll free at 888-869-0076, and someone can assist you with today's presentation.
Perfect. Next, I have a few specific application questions. So does ProSystems FX and ProSystem Engagement work on Cloud9, or are there proprietary or forced firms to use their cloud for their software? If they allow it, do we have to initiate the updates?
Good question. So yes, we do support those programs, and like I said, about 99% of programs can be accessed to the cloud and through our company today. There's two ways that we can manage updates when it comes to you you becoming a cloud provider. We can assign an administrator to the account, which they can do the updates. You can do your updates yourself, or we set them up on a schedule, and that can be done. And it really depends on your flexibility. If you want to manage those updates yourself, you can definitely do that. It's kind of more or less a preference, and those are the ones that is actually one of the questions that we ask you in the sign-up process is how do you want to manage your updates? Is it something that you want to do when it comes to the softwares, or is it something that you want us to manage and handle for you? Do keep in mind you are going to have to purchase software from these providers. The only softwares today that are actually leased through a cloud provider, software that are actually leased is going to be the Intuit product line, which is the accounting software, and then also Microsoft Office. All the other softwares, I'm pretty sure, are just a purchase, one-time purchase, and then also purchasing any type of maintenance support that they might have or updates that they have. But you definitely have to have access to those licenses for those softwares to be installed into the cloud.
Perfect. Similar question, but this time about Thomson Reuters UltraTax. Do you host UltraTax?
Yes, we do host UltraTax, and when you're speaking to to one of our consultants, just provide them a list of the applications. We've seen most accounting firms will be utilizing anywhere from 6 to 18 applications, and so that's one of the questions that you want to put together is a list of your applications, a list of your users, a list, and then maybe amount of data that you're moving to the cloud. So these are kind of just 3 basic questions that we're going to ask you on that initial phone call.
Perfect. This next one, I think that they're asking what kind of connection manager you use, because they say what icon system are you using, Citrix, MS, etc.
So we use the Microsoft technology. And so there's different types of technologies out there. I've used them all in the life of Cloudnine. We've just seen that the Microsoft technology is the easiest and the most secure, and it's kind of seamless, which is really nice. And so what you do is you log into your C9 portal, you see a list of your applications, you click on those applications, and you're able to launch them. So again, we are a Microsoft and VM and Dell shop. That's kind of our technology backbone.
And I can 100% vouch for what he's saying. I have tried all of them. Microsoft is definitely the most user-friendly. Next is, I thought this was just for the firm only. What do clients have to do with this outside portal?
So the outside portal is just going to allow the clients to log in and access their virtual office. So whether it's the accounting software, maybe it's their CRM software, inventory software, Word and Excel, Exchange. And so the C9 portal is utilized there for more or less the accounting firms to manage their users, but for the clients, they're just going to be accessing their virtual office. So that's kind of the 2 different types of platforms, where the accounting firm is more or less the admin, and the clients, their view and look is going to be that virtual office.
Perfect. Only have 3 more minutes, so I'm going to wrap up with some of the more common questions. A lot of questions about pricing. Rob, where can they get information about pricing?
Yeah, so again, it's going to lead back to those 3 basic questions, just kind of give you an idea of what the cost is per user. You're probably looking about anywhere from about $40 to $60 per user to move to the cloud. So there's packages at $3.99 per user to $4.99 per user. So it's going to be centered around about $40 to $60 per user, which is nice. So if you really think about it, you're looking at a probably max cost every time you add a new employee on an annual basis to about $600 on a technology standpoint. So you're going to know exactly what your cost is. We have 3 different billing plans. We have monthly, quarterly, and annual. And so again, when you're talking to one of the reps, they can get that information and actually provide you with that proposal.
Perfect. Lots of different questions on specific apps. Do you guys have anywhere on their website, or who should they contact about questions on specific apps if you can host them?
Yeah, you can just contact one of the reps, and they will be able to provide you. I believe it might even be on our actual website. We just launched our new website the last 30 days, and so that's not a page that I've actually seen. I know on our old website it was, but one of the reps would definitely have that list that they can provide to you in an email.
Perfect. Yeah, I see a lot of questions about Sage and Lacert and Thompson and Goldmine. So everybody look at the website and feel free to call them. I'm sure a rep would be happy to. I know that they host just tons and tons and tons of applications. So
yeah, today all those applications just listed, Casey, we do support, and like I said, we support over 1,000 applications. I think the last number I saw was like 1185. So those ones that you have listed, there are common applications, and so we do support those.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to wrap it up with one more question, and then if anybody has questions after that, if you want to contact Cloudnine directly, you will get follow-up email here that gives you access to the video of today's webinar that you could share with your team. It says, what would be the learning curve from going from having everything local on a desktop up to the cloud?
It's just more or less just the training, you know, moving your shortcut, your login shortcut to your desktop, just understanding how to add and remove and add and delete applications. So it's just, you know, think about it the first time that you logged into online banking, how do I transfer money and those type of things. It's pretty seamless. You know, you want to, when you first log in, if you have a scanner, making sure your scanner works, making sure you're able to print. And so when we walk you through that implementation process, again, we have that checklist to make sure, you know, you scan a document to the cloud, we can check that off, make sure you can print from your tax software or from Microsoft Word or Excel or at QuickBooks. So it's just understanding and making sure you're testing the system. It's kind of like, you know, going out and buying a new car, you're driving it off the lot, they're going to show you how to turn on the radio. We're going to show you how to turn on the cloud.
I like that. Cute. All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for attending. I think we had about 80 firms on at our peak today, and we really appreciate your time. I know for those of you on the West Coast, it is your lunch, so we will wrap this up. Rob, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. We hope to see you again on here soon. If any of you are attending the Firm of Now conference that Panalytics is hosting, Cloudnine is one of our gold sponsors, so make sure you stop by their booth and talk to their rep. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks again, Casey, and thanks for everyone for joining us today.